Well, hello. First, let me wish you a very happy new year, 2025. For those of us at the dusty end of the scale, that's getting to be quite a scary number. So look, I hope you've had a wonderful evening and I hope you enjoyed your new year in whichever way you like to celebrate it. I hope it was a good one. So as is my practice, I'm going to take 4 cards to guide us through the very first month of 2025. And I was very interested to see what this energy had in store for us. For a lot of us, 2024 has not been the easiest of years, but then we say that every year, don't we? Let's have a look at how this year is going to kick off. Now, it's an interesting reading. The 4 cards I draw are the overarching energy, what we can do to make the best of the month ahead, what we should lean into, and what will challenge that, what will sort of get in our way and stop us doing it, and then message from spirit. What does the energy have in store for us for January 2025? Well, the overarching energy is the Wheel of Fortune. Now that's great, because that tells us that the energy around us is changing. And we're going to have to contend with things that we can't necessarily control, but what we do in relation to that energy is actually going to make a really big difference. So we're not powerless. And the Wheel of Fortune is often known as kind of the Wheel of Fate, right? Well, as you know, if you have read with me at all, I don't like fate. But it does tell you that the fates are changing. So the fates are the things that we have no control over. There is this feeling of something moving in the energy, taking us to some sort of a new phase or a new chapter. So we're going to come into alignment with this new chapter. Well, that's kind of perfect for a new year, isn't it? A new chapter. And what we do in response to what's around us is going to be really, really important, okay? Because it's not fixed, and that's great. So what should we lean into? What's going to be of most use to us over the next month? Well, we have an interesting card. It's the 5 of Swords. Now, the 5 of Swords is not generally seen as being a very positive card. It is a card that has connotations of some negative energy and baggage, and I think that's the most important part of this. Now, the message of the 5 of Swords, and you can see on the card, we've got 2 figures standing back to back. We've got graves. Things have been lost, and there is negative energy from the past in play, and we can't fix it. And that's just a fact. Whatever has happened in the past, whatever has been before that has left a bad taste, it just is. And continuing to chew it over and continuing to sit in it is not going to help. And with that Wheel of Fortune, it's telling you that your response to that, the part you decide to play, is going to be decisive in how things pan out. So if you carry that negativity with you, if you carry bitterness with you, then that will show up in some way in the energy that you're going to be walking into. So it's really important that you choose at the beginning of the year that you're not going to carry any baggage forward. Now, that's easier said than done, right? But we do have to be aware, and we have to be hyper aware, because when you're in the throes of the Wheel of Fortune, it tells you this is not small stuff. This next phase is going to be pivotal, going to be really important. And what you take with you on that journey is going to flavor it and be instrumental in the direction that you're going to take. So what is the next card? What are we going to look at as the thing that's going to get in our way? What's going to challenge us picking our position? Well, we've got the 8 of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is a card of repeating patterns. It's called perseverance. It's sometimes seen as the card of mastery or the card of the apprentice. So it's telling us it's important to learn, to keep going, to persevere, but to make it better in the process, not to just keep on going round and round doing the same thing time and time again and hoping to get different results, because as we all know, that is indeed the definition of madness. So those patterns, those habitual responses that you normally approach situations with really do need a rethink. If you look at the card, you'll see there is the potter there, and he's throwing lots and lots of pots. Now, what he doesn't want to be doing is throwing the same pot 20 times with the same hole in it. What we want to do is make the pots perfect. So what we're doing is we're learning. We're coming to a higher stage of mastery in our lives. We are mastering life. That's the important thing here. The repeating patterns that we haven't mastered, the things that we haven't mastered, are the things that are really going to get in the way, because we're talking about this Five of Swords, right? This is energy from the past, negative energy, stuff you can't fix, stuff that has just stayed with you and that has bred some disappointment and bad feeling, and it's horrible stuff. And so the patterns that have been learned out of that, the patterns that have come from that, they really do need to be addressed. You've got to have a little look at this, because this is actually really important. What do you habitually do? What do you persevere with? It just isn't going to work anymore. Well, this is take 2. Turns out my microphone died. I have to redo this little last bit, so if there's a bit of a jump, do forgive me. So, what is the message from Spirit? Apart from charge up your microphone, Janis. What is the message from Spirit? Well, we have the Hermit card. And the Hermit card is a card of really coming to your own wisdom. So as we can see from the card, we are looking inside. Now, a lot of traditional Hermit cards show the Hermit on top of a mountain or on higher ground, and also there's often snow on the card, which means we're out in the cold in some way and we're feeling a little bit disconnected. But what it really means is that we need to draw on our own wisdom. We need to draw on what we think is right. And the lantern that the Hermit uses to light his way only lights the next couple of steps ahead, and he has to feel his way. So it's telling you have to work out your own route through whatever the difficulties are. So again, if we think back to that Five of Swords card, the card where it's talking about negative energy from the past, what it's asking us to do is to really tune in to what's going on inside us, what we know to be right, out the wisdom that we have inside us to draw on, and to basically let that guide us through. It's really important that we take some time to reflect on this, because it looks to me like it could be quite pivotal. We're being moved into another chapter, which is fantastic. We just have to make sure that we're in alignment with the right energy for that new chapter, and we don't carry with us any of that stuff from the past. Because, as the card tells us, we can't fix it. What's done is done. We have to just decide what position we're going to take. And we do that with the Hermit card. So we don't take into consideration anybody else's agenda, anybody else's approach, anybody else's position. We make it purely our own journey. And that will lead us to the best result. Awesome. I think we're starting 2025 off in quite an interesting way. That Wheel of Fortune really does tell us that we're moving into a new period. So I'm going to be fascinated to see how this works through. I hope you've had a lovely New Year's Eve and enjoy the last few days of freedom that we have left before we're all back to work. I wish you a very happy new year moving ahead. If you want a new year reading from me, I'd be delighted for you to reach out and ask for one, or for whatever reason. I'm going to say goodbye and God bless, and I shall see you soon. As always, like and subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know how all this resonates for you. Tell me your thoughts. I do honestly love to hear them. In the meantime, I'll say goodbye for now. Bye bye.